Hey guys, this is Team Winning's Bryan again. Have two more decks to go, and I'm almost done with this marathon. And I could sure use some coffee right now. Not gonna happen though. This one's Spike Brothers. This is naturally the Dudley Emperor build. There have been a lot of variants. There's one card in particular I'm going to call out just because I don't like it, and I'll show you why. First off, we start with Mecha Trainer. I like starting with him over Darkbringer because I just like being able to counterblast for something more useful. The counterblast can be reset with Silence Joker, Heal Trigger, yada yada, so on and so forth. So you're not really losing a whole lot in this deck. His ability, if you ride a Spike Brother on him, you can call him out to a rear guard circle. Counterblast 1, discard him, search for a grade 1 or lower added to your hand. Use it to go get your perfect guards, maybe get a medical manager. You'll see the whole list as I go along. So throw him over here. And then we'll go into my triggers. I play 8 crits, like always. Play 4 Silent Jokers and 4 Sonic Breakers. Sonic Breakers are basic vanilla. Silent Joker here, you can add him to Soul to unflip a damage. So going back to the Mecha Trainer, using it for him is kind of useful. So let's go ahead and get them out of here. And then I play 4 draws because you do kind of need a little bit of a hand in this deck. 4 Cheerful Links. And it's just your basic 5k draw trigger, doesn't do anything fancy other than draw you cards. You do use him kind of to throw him in the soul most of the time when you're doing Dudley Emperor's ability. Then for I cannot talk tonight, I am sorry. Cheer Girl Tiara, and it's just your basic heal trigger. On to the grade 1s. Naturally, I start with my 4 perfect guards that I always play. Cheer Girl Marilyn, if your Spike Brother is under attack, you can put this in the Guardian Circle, discard a Spike Brother. Target Spike Brother cannot be hit by an attack this turn. A lot of people debate playing like 2 or 3, never playing 4 Cheer Girl Marilyns. Same reason I cited in my Nova Grappler video. I'd rather have the consistency of having it, and I'm still playing a full lineup of grade 1s. So there's no disadvantage for me not playing 4 Cheer Girls. Moving on, I then play 4 Wonder Boys, which is your basic vanilla 8k beater. Really useful. The next one is I play 4 Reckless Express, which its ability is when it attacks, which seems kind of unorthodox, but I'll get there. When it attacks, you can Soul Blast 1. If you do, it gains power plus 5,000 and shuffles back into the deck after the battle. So bear in mind that's after that particular attack, not at the close step like some of the other effects. So it basically becomes a 12k, so it gets over the 11k threshold as a grade 1, and then you can just reuse it and you don't need to worry about it getting killed. You do have to go search it out, but again, citing Mecha Trainer for that. And then I play 3 Medical Managers. Like I've said in other videos, I'm not a real big fan of the random soul charge mechanic, and there have been one too many times where I have soul charged a Dudley Emperor away and then never saw one for the remainder of the game. That's just the bad luck of the deck. There's not really a lot of stuff you can sub out for Medical Manager. So, I mean, the only other option if you're still trying to build soul and take it less random is Red Shoe Millie, but that makes the deck more defensive, and this is a very aggressive deck. So you don't really want to play too much defense outside of your 4 perfect cards. On your 2s, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the debate card. I play 3 Field Leaders, or Fierce Leader Zachary. A lot of people like playing Field Driller in this slot. I just really have a problem with Field Driller. Like, he doesn't work with how the deck is supposed to just cycle stuff in and out. And he still does the Soul Blast mechanic like everyone else. The problem I have with Field Driller is that he's only really good as a written Vanguard, and that's if you pretty much drop almost the rest of your hand in order to try and fetch that card. Outside of that, I don't see him really useful late game outside of just the normal 5k block or the intercept. So I like Zachary better. It's easier for him to get into a 15, 16k column in case you need it. Field Driller at most can push 15, and that's with just a Wonder Boy behind him and pretty much nothing else. So that's my reason for playing Zachary over Field Driller. And then I play 4 Brackies. Kind of have to play 4 Brackies in this deck. Soul Blast 1, when it attacks, you can pay the cost. If you do, power plus 5,000 shuffles back into the deck. Does the same thing as Reckless Express. It helps you push, especially if you're trying for an early game push and you're just forcing them not to guard. You might as well just go ahead and push it out, and then you can set up for your combo next turn. And then you play 4 Treasured Black Panthers, pretty much because you always want to play your 10k vanilla. If you have everything set up for your combo, you can always just intercept it off during your turn and block an attack that way before you start looping. As for your grade 3s, I play 4 Demonic Lord Deadly Emperors. This is who you pretty much absolutely want to be your vanguard at all times. I know there will be the occasional time where you ride the Juggernaut Maximums, but you pretty much want him all the time. He's your limit breaker. He's basically how you win with this deck. If you don't get him and you don't get him early, the chances of your winning seem to go down very, very quickly. And then with that, I play 3 Juggernaut Maximums. Some people play 2. Some people like playing Skydivers. My problem with Skydiver is that you lose hand advantage, and you kind of need at least 2 cards in your hand at all times while still trying to keep yourself alive in case your first wave fails. There has been several times where the first wave has failed, so I'm just tailoring it in my experience. Plus, there have been games where I've had to ride him and then get the other one damaged, and it kind of messes up my loop. So basically how the loop works is you have this, you have 2 cards, you have 4 damage. It is a limit break ability. What you want to end up having is, say you have it like this. And I'll just go ahead and set it up to do kind of what it's supposed to do. I'm going to have a medical manager back there. I'm just going to say I have Reckless Expresses back here. I like having Reckless Express. It really, for this column, for these 2 columns, it doesn't matter who you have in the back. The power is still going to be roughly the same and not breaking any additional threshold. And then I'm just going to have like 2, I'm just going to go and put 2 perfect cards in my soul just to illustrate a point. And you have your 4 damage, you have 2 cards in your hand. I'm just going to say it's 2 more Emperors. So what you end up doing and what you want to do is when you want to attack with this without boosting. You Soul Blast a card away, so that way you shuffle it back into your deck. Now he's gone. Let's go ahead and toss the soul card out. Then you swing with this one and do the same thing without boosting with these. Soul Blast the card away. This card goes back in your deck. Now that you're in Limit Break and you have 2 cards, you swing with this. His 2 abilities are really good. The first one, if he's boosted, he gets power 3,000. If you have a medical manager, he's a 20. If you have a Wonder Boy, he's a 21. So that can help with those 21k threshold decks that you're playing against. If you run up against, say, Nova Grappler or something, just try and prepare to have the Wonder Boy back here to have happen as backup. The Limit Break is Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2, add 2 Spike Brothers from your hand to Soul. When this card attacks, and this effect resolves before your drive check, you add the 2 cards, so I'm going to go ahead and add them now, and you get to search your deck for any 2 Spike Brothers and call them to rearguard. So you get your Juggernauts back. Now, depending on what stage of the game you're at, you get to drive. And say they block him, whatever triggers you get, you don't really care because you can put it on these 2 guys, which is really useful. And then after that, depending on what stage of the game is and what you reveal on your triggers, if you're pushing for game, you just swing with these, Soul Blast them away, and call it a day. You usually kill them by doing this. If it's at a stage of the game where it doesn't look like it's going to be fatal damage and you're trying to set up for wave 2, you pretty much just attack with the full column at this point. You'll attack with a full column regardless. The difference will be whether you Soul Blast or not. If you don't think you're going to be able to push for game, then don't Soul Blast, keep them on here so that way next turn you can repeat the same thing that I showed you at the beginning of this combo. If you think you're just going to go straight to their face and win the game right then, Soul Blast them away, make them as big as humanly possible, and try and end it right there. That's pretty much it on Spike Brothers. This deck, personally, has just been a love-hate relationship where just sometimes I just don't get what I need. And I don't think really Field Driller or anyone else would change that ratio. And like I said, I just find Field Driller too weak for what this deck's trying to do. I understand it's a draw mechanic card, but Zachary to me is just a little bit better. So with that said, that is video number 9. I will be posting the last video here in 1 second. Other than that, comment, rate, subscribe, do whatever you need to do, and Team Winnings Bryan out.